Hi, you're again with Volleyball Explained Podcast. Today, again, we are going to talk about the Italian League. Nicola is here. Unfortunately, Ronnie is busy, so he can't join us. But we are going to talk about the finish of the regular season in Italy and the first playoffs, of course, as well as we are going to make our dream team of the regular season in the Italian League. Uh, let's start with what happened at the end of the regular season. The relegated teams are Vibo Valentia and, of course, Ravenna. Ravenna ended with no wins, which Nicola probably will say better if this is some kind of a anti-record. And the other team, surprisingly or not, is Vibo. From 1st to 8th, we have the teams of Perugia, Lube, Trento, Modena, Milano, Piacenza, Monza, and Cisterna. Cisterna claimed the 8th place, so they face Perugia in the quarterfinals in the playoffs. And the teams saved were Verona, Padova, and Taranto. Let's talk firstly about the relegated teams and especially about Vibo. Nicola, are you surprised from what happened? Because in the beginning it was very tough for Vibo. Then they improved a lot with Nishida and but at the end, again, they went down and they will play in Serie A2 next season.
Well, I will lie if I say that I'm not surprised about what happened to that team. At the beginning of the season, I indicated as one of the team that would have made the playoff. But during the season, they found a lot of difficulties, starting from the how can I say, the walk away from Douglas, and then adding the injuries of Nishida, the COVID problem, then the reschedule of some matches that, if played in their original dates, probably it would have been a better situation for Vivo. But at the end, they deserve to get relegated for what they displayed in the last two games, especially the one against Padova. It was a must-win game. If Vibo would have won it, they would have been safe. But they won the first set. They lost 3-1 at the end, and their destiny was not in their hands. Still, with a win in the last game against Piacenza, it would have been safe because Padova actually lost to Modena. But I watched the game and they were hopeless. I mean, you see from the start of the game that maybe just Nishida and Candelaro believed that they could be safe by the end of the day. The other players look like they don't believe they could escape the relegation. At the end, I mean, we saw Vibo last year, and people may ask how it's possible that a team that ended 5th in 2020, 2021 could be relegated next year. Well, actually, last season was something exceptional in the history of Vibo, who always had fought for the last spots of the ranking. But still, I think that's probably one of the most surprising story of this season.
Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that they were just 1 point. They had a match point in the third match against Monza in order to be in the semifinals, and I believe it was 13-14 in their favor in the tiebreak, and David decided to just put the ball into the net, something like that, yeah. And they missed it, and then I believe Pipo Wanza made a very good match, and Monza eventually won, and they were yeah, I don't think we need that much to talk about Ravenna, because all the season long we know that Ravenna, uh, it wasn't sure that they will even start the season. Then they uh, uh, made the squad very difficult, in very difficult terms. So of course the squad was not that strong in comparison even to teams like Padova. Padova actually started the season very strong. So it wasn't a surprise that Ravenna is relegated, but is it a surprise that Ravenna didn't win a single match?
Actually, that's anti-record, as you call it, in the rally point system era here in Italy. No team have ever lost every game they played, and no team have ended with just 2 points. But it's surprising because we're not used to see a team like that, especially in the Superlega, considering the overall level of the championship. But for this team, following from the first games ahead, is not that surprising. The 2 points they get, one against Padova and the other against Milano, when at 2 games that, especially the one against Milano, they're more to blame on Milano than to give credit to Ravenna for the point. And if the player think they've already doomed without playing, it's inevitable that they ended up not winning any game. Still, in the last games, they managed to win at least a set, basically every. So at least they put up a fight, and not to get the usual 3-0 they unfortunately ended up with every game before. So by the end of the season, they had maybe they, without the pressure, because they knew that they had no chances. They played with more mind free, and they actually lined up some interesting players, maybe for the team fighting not to be relegated next year. I'm thinking about I don't know, maybe the young Bovolenta, or the Vukasinovic is one of the players that could get to a team like Padova or Cisterna, one of those teams next year. What's next for Ravenna? It's a big question here in Italy. Actually, they don't know if they will play in the A2 next season, what they will be with the team, and that's a big question mark, because Ravenna is one of the most historic, if not the historic team in Italy, and watching them disappear would be tough.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, it's very sad that they did this anti-record, but it is what it is. So, okay, let's go to something which is actually your idea, our dream team for the regular season, and I believe we can do it slice by slice. So I am asking you for your setter of the regular season, and then I will say my proposal, and yeah, and so on.
Yeah, the choice is about the overall player, and or what is achieved with the players that plays him, because I think that the best setter of the season in the regular season have been Giannelli by far, because I've been the most consistent throughout the year. But there are 2 young setters that actually stood out during the 26 games of regular season. One is Riccardo Sbertoli, who would have thought that with just some training in Trento, he would have fit so well in Lorenzetti's team. And the other is Paolo Porro, because considering his height, his age, and it was the first year as a starting setter in the Superlega, he did very well for me. the big names like De Cecco and Bruno, they haven't been so consistent in my opinion. So if I had to pick one, I'd pick Giannelli.
Yeah, my pick is also Giannelli. And as you said, by the way, it's interesting because I'm not considering Sbertoli a young setter, probably because Giannelli is just 1 year older, I believe. Probably because of the fact that he's bald and with a he has no hair actually and with a beard. So I was actually surprised when I realized that he's just 20, 24, 25, which really a surprise for me. And of course, Pau Porro, and I'm very interested how Pau Porro will develop, because we all know that having not that much of a height is becoming more and more difficult in the world volleyball today. So unicorns like Benjamin Tognuti are very rare occasion now. But still, I hope that Pau Porro, but also his brother, by the way, Luca Porro, who is playing, he's 18, I believe, 18, yes, 18, 19. So another great player, but outside hitter. So my pick is also, of course, Giannelli. Let's go to the opposite position.
Opposite position, Nimir, especially because there are two, I would say, two Modenas. The one when Nimir is playing at his best, and the one where Nimir is not fit or not too much into the game. And he has proved once again that if he's healthy, if he could play an entire game without too many problems, it's a scoring machine. He actually ended up second in the ranking best scoring players, just because he missed 2 games. Otherwise, won this year as well. But I also want to underline Ryklitsky performance, because in a team like Perugia, where most of the balls went to Leon or in the middle to Solé or even to Anderson, when Giannelli decided to set it to him, he did a very good job. And Peter Derlich, who played an incredible season for Cisterna, replacing Svark. But Nimir topped everyone this season as well.
Yeah, probably people will think that I'm just copying you, but my pick is also Nimir. And exactly for the same argument. Modena is one team when Nimir is playing, and another team where Nimir is not playing. So we are going to switch now the order, and I will start. So my pick for an outside hitters, let's go together. Outside hitters, I believe it was pretty easy. One of them is for sure Wilfredo Leon, because I don't think with Perugia that good and Wilfredo Leon so huge, we can make a dream team without Leon. And the second one is, of course, a very positive surprise, the best scorer of the regular season, and I believe the first outside hitter to be the best scorer since Ivan Zaitsev. I believe almost 10 years ago, and of course this is the 20 years of age player, the Slovenian attacker from Verona, Rok Možić. Just amazing, and it says it all that in most of the matches I watched in Verona, I actually noticed that Rado Stojcev is starting with rotation with Možić in position 4, which means that he's trying to have Možić as much time as possible in first row. So this is actually a very very convincingly indicating what Možić can do, and how Možić is important for the team, because I'm sure that without Možić, probably Verona would have been relegated.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, no one could leave Leon out of a dream team in any competition, I think. And Možić was one of the surprise of this season. If there would be a Rookie of the Year award, it will definitely go to him. The best scoring titles to me is not that important, considering that basically the starting opposite for half of the teams of the Superlega, if not maybe almost every team, lost a lot of games. And the Lagumja lost 5, Grosser lost 6, Patry lost 4, and Rikliski, we said that it's not that served like Modric, and Trento doesn't have an opposite. So the scoring, the best scoring is a huge actually a huge achievement, but not that important. The fact is that it's been reliable and basically carried Verona for most of the games they won. Him plus Rafa probably are the 2 reasons that Verona ended up still would be playing in the Superlega. Other player that probably we have to mention is definitely Micheletto, who proved once again that he's on path to be one of the best. Marlon Hunt had a good year of development. And even if it's one of the most inconsistent player that has always been all along his career, I think that Ervin Gapet went back to Italy and some monster games, and the one to prove that he's still one of the best outside hitter. But for this season, Modric Leon has to be the dream team starting outside hitters.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to middle blockers, and it's your turn first.
Well, that's difficult actually, because there have been a lot of players who have had a really good season, and to me, we have to get Simon there, even if it was not the best Simon we've seen. Still, is the middle blocker with most point, most aces, and one of the middle blocker that had most attacks. So it's still a factor when he's perfectly fit, and when Lube started playing with a system that was effective, because for half of the years Lube didn't know which player to line up basically on every game day. For the second spot, honestly, I don't know who to pick, because Lisinat, when healthy, is still behind Leon. But we also had Piano, who had a monster season. We had Shineniez as well, who had a monster season. Flavio, who was one of the most positive players in Vivo Valencia. We had Vitelli, that stood up in Padova. But for my personal taste, I will pick Solé. So my will be Simon Solé.
Yeah, I hope that we don't have any problems with the connections, because I missed you for a moment.
You froze? You listen?
Yeah. Do you hear me well now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I just probably the problem is in my work connection. But anyway, so probably here is the first difference in our dream teams, because I also pick Simon. And actually, you mentioned my second pick, and my second pick is Shineniez from Milano, because I believe that actually both of the middle blockers of Milano were great. Also Matteo Piano, but my second pick is Shineniez. In this spot, very big, solid middle blocker with both great in blocking, but also in attacking. So yeah, I believe that he's deserving the second place in my J team. And at the end, my libero pick is the libero of Piacenza, Scanferla. I believe that he has a great season. He's probably one of actually many young liberos which are going to play, I'm sure, in the Italian national team sooner or later. of course, Italy has still Massimo Colacci, Fabio Balazzo, Scanferla thereafter, but they have also the other libero of Piacenza, Damiano Catania, but also the libero of Taranto, I believe. That was the libero of the Italian U20 this year national team, Lorenzano, who is 18-19, but playing in the Serie A one in Taranto. So I believe that Italy has a great talent in the libero position, but my pick for this regular season is Canfero.
Yeah, I was torn about actually three players. One of them is Scanferla, and Piacenza ended up with the best efficiency in reception of the entire Superlega, mostly thanks to Scanferla's job. And we saw it in the game one of the quarterfinals of the playoff against Trento. Without Scanferla, Piacenza is a totally different team. So he has earned the place in our Dean team, mine as well. But I also want to underline Gabriele Laurenzano, as you pointed out, who probably will play in one of the big four, big five in a couple of years. And for as much as a lot of people here don't like him, I think that Julian Zenger, the libero of Trento, has been way improving throughout the year, and with the system that Trento is playing, without the opposite and with four receptions for the receptioning players for most of the time, is doing pretty well. Still, I don't know if Trento will confirm it for the next year, but as you pointed out, there are a lot of great liberos, young liberos to choose here in Italy.
Yeah, I haven't thought actually about the coach of the regular season, but taking into account that that probably we should pick the number one team. Probably, I don't know. So do you think that there is making any sense to actually to pick a coach of the regular season?
Well, if not Gorbic, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because he was able to actually give stability to Perugia and to limit their flaws and exploit their qualities. So we all expected that Perugia would have ended the regular season in the first place, but he did it with 10 points clear of head of Lube, and it's never been a question who would have won it. So I think that Gerbic did an amazing job, and also if we have to name someone out of the group, I would say Vincenzo Di Pinto, who saved Taranto with a roster that I don't know how many other coaches would have been able to guide for another season in Superlega. So I think that Di Pinto did an extraordinary job, but the coach for our Dean team has to be Gerbic.
Yeah.
Also because we have 3 or 5 players from Perugia in it, so he already knows how to coach them.
Yeah, actually, in order to make a compliment, I believe that in some of the first episodes for this season, you mentioned that Vincenzo Di Pinto is a coach who has a lot of experience in saving teams from being relegated. So good for you. Yeah. Okay, the playoff started. We had Trento Piacenza 3-0. Lube Monza 3-0, Modena Milano 3-0, and Perugia Cisterna, probably the biggest surprise of them all, 3-1. So no problems for the favorites, with the pure exception of Perugia losing a set against Cisterna as a host, which is more of a surprise for me, especially. you mentioned the problems of Piacenza. Piacenza were playing time to time better, but at the end, eventually lost to Trento. And it is interesting that Trento played with Pinali as an opposite, I believe. So a little bit of a change from what we adjusted in watching in the beginning. No problems for Modena against Milano. I expected more competition there. Lube Monza, I believe Lube won't have any problems, and of course Perugia should win it also pretty easily against Cisterna. Even though Cisterna is playing very good, you mentioned Dirlitz, also Baranovic, Rinau, and they're actually without Schwarz, as long as I remember. So Cisterna is
and
making very good impression.
And they were also without Cavaccini, they're starting libero for game one. Yeah, Cisterna is one of that team that, to me, they're happy that they're safe and they're also in the playoff, because as we know, for in the last 2 games of the regular season, there were 5 teams fighting not to be relegated, and 4 of them had a chance to be in the playoff. Cisterna took it. They went to Perugia playing mind-free, so they put up a pretty good fight. And in my opinion, Perugia was already thinking about the Champions League semi-final with Trento, and Perugia had a pretty bad day from the service line, and usually it's one of their best weapons. So Cisterna somehow managed to take a set from them. But Soli itself, the trainer of the coach of Cisterna, said we've been able to play a good game because they didn't play a good game. So it was pretty honest at the end of the game. That's exactly the opposite what happened with Trento, who had, I think, the best serving day in their season. They scored 12 aces in 3 sets. They were constantly putting the Piacenza reception under pressure. And with that, Brizard had a very few chances to set some plays that he usually used during a game. And both Rossard and Holt playing in pretty badly. Rossard especially had more. I think he had more mistakes than points or something like that. And on the other end, Pinali, who had to substitute Lavia because still had some healthy problem, had a very good game, and he proved that at least he could be useful if the team is playing pretty well. As usual, Matej Kaziski had the heavy balls to convert into points. One of these few moments that Trento was under difficulties, but the MVP was Micheletto because he scored 5 aces, 4 blocks, and he had a very good overall game. Honestly, I expected way more from Milano, but we have to say that Modena played very, very well. If Modena plays like that, they could have a chance to go the distance, in my opinion, because they've proved to be the team that could, how can I say, they could put Perugia under pressure the most. So if they qualify for the semi-final and against Perugia and they play as they played against Milano, it will be very, very tough for Leon and company to reach the final. Yeah, and Monza Lube, well, sorry. Monza, I think that they were happy from the Chev Cup win. They play, but they were not too, how can I say, too sad about the outcome of the game. They will try to do something different in game 2, but I think that Lube will go through pretty easily.
Yes, and if anything, everything, if everything goes according to plan, So Perugia will face Modena, and Clube will face Trento in the semifinals, and these matches will be really blockbusters. Okay, you mentioned Champions League. Let's go to the Champions League because the matches are starting very soon. And actually, when we are going to publish this podcast, they would have been played. Jezebski against Zaksa, Polish derby in the first semifinal, and Perugia against Trento in the second Italian semifinal. So for a second year in a row, we are going to have a Polish Italian clash in the final. But what are your predictions for the semifinals? I believe that Perugia probably will win against Trento, so they will make revenge for what happened last year, which was pretty surprising, in my opinion. And actually, I believe that Zaksa and Jazjebski would be a very interesting match because it is just a little bit like last season in Polish league, where Zaksa was totally dominant during the season, but at the end, at the final, Jazjebski won both matches and won the title, and they're playing pretty good with Tugnuti, with Forna, with Clevenot, and great coaching by Andrea Gardini. And also Zaksa is succeeding in maintaining their level, even though they changed the coach. Now the coach is George Crețu, the Romanian. Marcin Janos is not, of course, it's not Tugnuti, but they have now Eric Shoji instead of Pavel Zatorski, with Slivka, with Kaczmarek and Semenyuk. They're again very good. So I believe it will be a very even clash between Zaksa and Jaszewski, and it's very hard to see which team will prevail at the end.
Totally agree with everything you said, and I will add that it will be even more surprising compared to last year if Trento could reach the final, because this year the difference is clearly it's clear, and Perugia shown, for example, in the Coppa Italia final, that they are way above Trento, but still they need to play their best volleyball, because if you gave Trento a chance, they will take it. So Perugia, in my opinion, is the clear favorite, and they will qualify for the final. And as for the Polish derby, I think is 50-50. I don't see a clear favorite. I don't know how much the fact that neither Perugia nor Zaska played the quarterfinals, because they were already qualified due to the disqualification of the Russian team, if that had something to do with the rhythm, with some momentum, I don't know. But for as much I would love to see a Perugia Zaksa final, I would also love to see Gardini coaching a team in a Champions League final, especially after how he has been treated last year by Piacenza. It would be really, I could say, a sport revenge to see him fighting for the most important title at the club level.
Yeah, okay. Let's finish with just to mention that in the women's bracket in the Champions League, the situation is very interesting because only one semifinal will be played. And that's because of the fact that one of the quarterfinal matches should have been between Russian teams. So both Russian teams were expelled due to the Russian invasion in Ukraine. So Imoco Conegliano, which the team that has won the quarterfinal against Monza, directly qualified for the final, and in the other semi-final is a Turkish derby between Vakıfbank and Fenerbahçe. So that means that the winner will face Conegliano. So Vakov and Fenerbahce will play in the semi-final with slight favorite for sure Vakov, but Fenerbahce with players like Fedorovtseva, Lazareva is not to be underestimated. So I believe that, yeah, that I think that was quite enough for today's podcast. Thank you, Nico, for being so extensive. Unfortunately, Ronnie couldn't join today. I hope that you will be here for the next one. Probably we can do it after. Let's not be after the quarterfinals because that could mean only one match. So probably after the start of the semifinal playoffs. Yeah. So yeah. Thank you again to all the listeners or the viewers in YouTube of the podcast, and I hope that you're going to watch or listen to us again the next time. Bye.
Bye.